In this lesson, we're going to talk about starting out with a $1,000 budget to get your screen printing company or your clothing brand up and going. I have this little PDF presentation of everything you could possibly need, plus we'll have a bunch of links to products on Amazon and just names in general. You don't have to get everything off of Amazon. You can go to a wholesale vendor. Starting out, you're going to need a screen because it is screen printing. I would start out and get as many screens as you can possibly afford. I'd say at least 4, but if all you can afford is 1 for now, that's fine. But start out with something that is a 156 mesh at the lowest. And we'll talk about why further down the line as to why you don't want to start with the 110. 110s just put down too much ink and it takes longer for your shirts to cure, for that ink to cure up and set. And you're just wasting a bunch of ink for no reason whatsoever. So get you a nice selection. I'd say do either a 156 or a 195. There are equivalents that are like 160 or 200. Use that for your white base, and then use 230 mesh screens for your overprint colors. And that will put down just enough ink to make it a bright enough print without wasting too much ink, and you'll be able to experiment with screen printing wet on wet. And we'll talk about that in some future lessons. But stick with 156 all the way up to 230. Next, you're going to need some emulsion. I would recommend a good diazo emulsion. You can go for a photopolymer, which will expose faster. However, photopolymers don't hold as great of detail. Don't get me wrong, you're going to be able to get some decent detail, but if you wanted to get into half tones, you will need a diazo emulsion, and it's just more user friendly. So go with a diazo emulsion for now. You're going to need a scoop coater in order to get that emulsion onto the screen, and something off of Amazon would be absolutely fine. Just use the sharp side of your scoop coater, coat your screens 1 and 1, and you should be good to go. An inkjet printer, you're going to need to print film from your computer, so you'll need to be able to send your graphic to an inkjet printer, and waterproof inkjet film that is a transparent film that will absorb that black ink, will block the lights, that way you can expose your screens. There are a lot of different models out there. I'll leave some links to some of the more affordable models. However, they can get pretty expensive. The Canon Pixma is a great one for a budget startup kind of situation. So be sure to check that out. Link down below this lesson. You'll need to be able to expose that graphic onto your screen once it's nice and dry. A lamp setup such as the one in this PDF presentation and the links I've provided down below will do wonders. But if you can, go ahead and get an exposure unit. At that point, you're already talking about spending some decent money, and I would go with some reputable brands rather than getting something off of Amazon. Trust me, it'll be worth it. They last you a long time, so you want to spend the extra few $100 to go with someone like Anatol or M&R, Vastex. Lots of good manufacturers out there. Buy it nice or buy it twice. Do you struggle with separating your screen print art? Let me quickly show you how Action Steps separates your artwork. Let's dive into the computer. I have Adobe Photoshop open. Action Steps is a Photoshop plugin. We'll go to Window, Actions. We'll load up our Action Steps plugin. We'll click this hamburger button right here. Go to Load Actions. We'll find Action Steps and click on Button Mode. First thing I want to do is create a proof window so I can compare my separations to my original artwork. Now we'll come down here to where it says Start Action Steps and click on that button. And just like that, we have our separations ready to go. If we go over the channels, you'll see that we have 9 separate colors, but let's say we only have a 6-color press. So we'll click on this little button right here that says 6-color press. Now we've effectively reduced it down to 6 colors. Here's our white base, our red. There's really no blue in there. We'll just leave that off. Click on yellow. We got a cool gray and a highlight white. In this case, we could just click and drag this blue separation into the garbage, and now we have reduced this down to 5 colors. That was pretty fast and simple, wasn't it? Instead of spending hours separating artwork. Not only does Action Steps come with a Photoshop plugin, but it also comes with a training course teaching you how to use the actions, but how to screen print simulated process step by step, from installing the actions, adjusting your separations, what mesh count to use, the best type of emulsion, to screen printing your art on press.
I leave no stones unturned within this training. You also get access to our Action Steps members only group, which is private and just for you guys, where you can go and ask questions and get answers to your questions. And you can interact with other members that are having success and pick their brain. Don't just take my word for it. Check out Kyle's prints. He knew nothing about screen printing, found Action Steps, and has since scaled his business from a manual press to an automatic. Or Matt Eball, who had never printed simulated process and is now kicking out some pretty awesome prints. Action Steps cost less than a tank of gas and it's a one-time fee. It also comes with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, so you have peace of mind. Click the link below and learn more now. This sale won't last long, so click the link below and see how Action Steps can help. We'll see you on the other side.
Now your screen printing press. Getting started, I wish this was available when I started screen printing. Those Amazon 4-color one-station presses are great little presses to get started with to do more than one color designs, and it will get your foot in the door of screen printing and being able to scale your business. Now as your business grows, obviously you're going to want to invest into a nice screen printing press, which those things can start out somewhere around $2,500, which completely is out of this budget. But be sure to check out those 4-color one-station Amazon presses. They work wonders and they do well for what they are, and they're a great stepping stone press. Squeegees. You're going to need some squeegees, 1 to 4 squeegees. If you have a 4-color press, you'll need 4 squeegees to take advantage of that. There are different durometer squeegees in which the lower the number, say 60, the softer that squeegee rubber will be. On the higher end, 90, 95, the harder that squeegee rubber is going to be. So I'd stick somewhere in the middle, 70, 75, just so you're able to push through some of those thicker inks like white, and it's not too soft for some of your overprint colors such as your reds, yellows. So get you a handful of squeegees that are in the 70 to 75 range and you'll be good to go. Inks. Starting out, I'd say start with Plastisol ink. Water base is fine and dandy. However, water base dries up in the screen a lot faster. It's harder to cure because you have to evaporate all that moisture. So that's why I recommend Plastisol. Plastisol ink, you just have to get that film to anywhere from 260 degrees to 330 degrees, depending on if it's a low cure ink, and you're all set, which you'll be able to do with a flash. A flash is the next thing you will need. This flash will be able to, and what a flash is basically a heating element towards where you can gel that ink and you could put another color on top. So let's say you're doing a black shirt, you print your white base, you bring your flash over, you make that ink dry to the touch, move it aside, bring your next screen down, and you'll overprint your color on top of that. Plus, a flash is going to come in handy for curing your shirt since a conveyor dryer is completely out of the budget, but we'll cover all that in more detail in future lessons. Last but not least, you are going to need some chemicals in order to remove your ink. If you want to reuse your screens and set up a different job, you'll need some emulsion remover. You're going to need screen tape. There are a lot of small things that you'll be able to afford in this budget, and I'll have a list down below and in the lesson material section up above, so it'll be in a couple of places just so you have access to it. That's going to about do it for the $1,000 budget, and we'll see you in the next lesson where we talk about a budget of $2,500 and above, in which this would be a setup where you would invest your money wisely, and the equipment in that particular lesson will be something you could work full-time using. We'll see you there.